Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, the Arkansas RC Newbie, and on today's episode we're going to be doing some upgrades, hopefully one very big upgrade to help out with this AMK carbon fiber crawler chassis LCG cheater rig. The low center of gravity is there. You know, we got about 2 and about 1/4 inch of height on this ground clearance. Skid plate's super low. The issue though is the Stealth X gearbox I'm a very big fan of sticks up super high. So I'm hoping one of my subscribers sent me an Artful Dodgers skid plate. This is the FoxBelly V2. It's got a whole new mounting option for the Stealth X gearbox, and hopefully we can lower the center of gravity on this guy. We'll do a little bit of before and after measurements, and also I'm hoping that it kind of straightens out my drive shafts a little bit. Those are a little angled, at least the one in the front. Alright guys, so let's see if we can get this job done today. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Okay guys, so if you missed that mail time we did a while back, my boy Jesse, one of my fellow competitors and one of my buddies out in the crawling course, he was just wanting to support the channel, and he said, man, I would like to send something for your mail time. I appreciate what you're doing, and Jesse, I appreciate you sending me this whole setup here, this whole kit. I think it's about $54, $55. This is the Artful Dodgers V2 skid plate that this kit comes with. Now, the skid plate, as far as my crawler is concerned, I don't think I'm going to be changing it out. I think I'm going to save this for my RGT build. Remember, we got a carbon fiber crawler chassis for that as well. We're going to swap everything over. Now, here is the mounting bracket. I'm not too sure how this is going to be mounted up. All I know is the mounting plate down here is the exact same of my skid plate. So we'll be able just to hopefully unbolt and bolt this guy in after a few changes with the Stealth X gearbox. We also have, I think this is for the electronics, to kind of bolt everything to. And then we have a whole bunch of mounting hardware as well. So pretty cool that this whole kit came with that. We'll be taking a look and seeing how hard this job is to really get done. And we're going to be doing some measurements of before and after on how high it sits now as opposed to the after. So let's go ahead and get this guy over here. Man, this crawler has been just such a fun build. My first crawler ever. If you guys have missed any of the episodes, make sure you guys turn notifications on to go back and check out some of those videos, because it's definitely been a learning experience. But the center of gravity is definitely, I think, the thing that hits this the hardest. It's just some of that side hilling is not there. But all right, so it's showing to be about 5.5 inches from top to bottom. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and dismount this motor. And guys, let me tell you something, man. We still got that episode coming up to kind of do the real-time review and the scoring on this crawler. But the motor is awesome. I mean, it's definitely gonna score high. The just amount of throttle control. There's not as much top end speed on this Quicrun that I would like. And I'm running an 18 tooth pinion right now. Not enough top end speed, but we are crawling a lot. But just for maybe a team crawl where I actually have to, maybe do a time trial run or something, I would worry about it. That and these tires, I'm not really sold on this tire combo yet. But yeah, man, I was very happy with the rig's performance on the initial impressions episode that we did. I'm curious as to, I'm really curious on how the drive shafts are going to be after this, because I have no clue how this is going to be laid out. But if you can see here, this front drive shaft has got a pretty nasty angle in it, and this thing does get kind of loud when I'm crawling. There's some squeaking going on in there. The rear, for the most part, is actually decently straight. I mean, I'm not afraid of that angle whatsoever, but this front one has definitely drawn some eyes when I was getting this thing built. A lot of people were kind of commenting on, man, that's kind of a really rough angle you got going there. So hopefully that this Artful Dodgers little V2 gets that a little more straightened out. But again, I'm not sure how this is going to go as far as the layout of everything. I'm hoping it doesn't mess with my drive shafts, or it doesn't mess with my linkages. I was going to change out to this skid plate, but really I think that the Artful Dodger skid plate is just a little bit thicker, and I think it actually weighs more than this skid plate here. Originally I thought that this chassis came with a aluminum. I thought it was aluminum skid plate, but this one here is actually plastic, and it's really low profile, so I'm going to be saving this Artful Dodgers skid plate for my RGT swap over on the new chassis. If you guys did not see the mail time of that new chassis, make sure you guys go back and check the episode out. Make sure you turn notifications on, because yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff that we're going to be getting into here pretty soon. We'll have pretty much a whole new crawler going on. All right, so this thing I believe has got 25% of overdrive. I just have to remember this is the rear here, so we don't get too confused. So that's what's going to be like that, and I mean that's going to make the world of difference, I hope. But let's just see how this thing mounts up. Remember, 5.5 inches is what it was. And I was talking to Luke, the president of HHSC, and he told me if I were to get this upgrade, and install it, it was going to make a world of difference as far as the lower center of gravity goes. And man, I cannot wait. I'm so happy that Jesse sent this to me. All right, now it's going to be a guessing game, I guess. There's no instructions that came with that, but here's going to be the plate. Okay, and I'm not sure how this goes. Of course, this is going to be the mounting side here, I guess. Okay, so that fits perfect. Look at that. So I'm thinking this is how it's going to go here, how it's going to kind of mock up. There's not a lot of options there, but that's going to be the lowest. So remember before, this here was the mounting point, and it stood up like that. So we're basically going from this to it laying down, and the bulk of the weight is down super low now. Oh, that's going to be awesome. Okay, let's get this guy mounted up. All right, guys, something I was noticing I'm a big fan of on this Artful Dodgers V2 setup here is each one of these mounting holes, they are all threaded. So that is very cool. I just don't feel, I know when I was bolting into this here, the Stealth X, I actually put a couple of too long of screws and it started to impede with the gears in there, and it made me super nervous, and I was hoping I didn't destroy anything or mess anything up. But it's very cool that these here are actually threaded. So it's bolting into the metal as opposed to the plastic. We're fixing to flip this guy over and see if this all fits up just right. Let's flip this guy over. There's something going on here that this does not like. Alright, so the problem that I'm seeing here is it's pretty flush over here on this opposite side. I'm just wondering how the heck the motor is going to fit over there. That's going to be problem number one. Problem number two is this little lip. It's not quite, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch, a little bit less. It's sticking out over here on this side as well, on the driver's side, if you will. And the issue with that is I'm starting to make contact with the bottom portion here of the Stealth X. So what I'm going to have to do is probably grind that over. The reason they send you the skid plate, or I think this is an option in the little drop down, I was kind of checking it out. I think the reason this is thicker is because it actually sits up a little bit higher, and it's probably going to be more flush with the rails. That's what I'm imagining. It's definitely it's a lot thicker than this skid plate that's on there. So it's really good thinking, I guess, that they sent this as well, or that they give you the option to buy this as well, because you'll run into this issue. But we're going to grind that little portion down real quick with the Dremel tool, and then we'll stick this guy on there, and it shouldn't be making contact. But if that's the only modifications we have to make with this thing, that's really not bad. Okay, looks like that did the trick. Looks like we'll be able to actually mount that guy up and it's not going to be impeding on that chassis anymore. Okay, let's see what she looks like. Oh, wow. Guys, look at the difference. Holy crap. We're going to be doing that measurement, so make sure you guys stick around. Wow, that is so much lower, and it spreads that weight out. So the issue now is going to be these links. I'm going to have to move that sucker way out of the way just to run that there. Which is okay, but I'm not going to have that high clearance anymore of having it that way, which isn't the end of the world. It's just there's going to be some movement there. I'm not going to like that. That's a little bit more straighter. That's going to be a little straighter on the front side and a little bit more of an angle on the rear that I'd like. But that's what we're going to have to deal with. I think it's going to be a happy medium. All right, there's another problem. Gosh, this thing just keeps hitting me with them. Oof, I don't know what I could do with that. I could get rid of these sliders. I really don't want to, because it was nice crawling with them and it's really helping save my body. But the mounting point that I have up here for the slider and for my link is in the way. And I'm thinking even if I put that in there, it's also going to mess with my body mount back here. Because this is the smallest of cans, that's the 540, and that sucker is like making a bunch of contact. To not make any more contact, I'm going to have to cut this whole piece out pretty much where that's mounted to. I really don't want to get rid of that loop, because I'm going to have to put that slider up there. If it fits. Okay, it'll fit right there. And it actually clears my little L bracket back here that I use to mount my body. So that's going to be super close. I'm happy that that fits. I'm just a little upset that I have to move this now. Maybe I can figure something out. Alright, let's get this motor mounted up and then let's see the height difference. Alright guys, we got the motor mounted in there. We also have the drive shafts on. You know, the thing that was interesting was I figured that the drive shafts were going to really impede with the link here. And I mean, it kind of does to a certain extent, but it's really not that bad. I am going to have to just, I guess after every little run that I do, make sure that this link is actually in a good position where it's not rubbing on there. So that's kind of an issue, but it's not terrible. And then the rear one here is actually lined up really well. The only negative as far as this goes is, of course, we had to do a little bit of fabrication here, which made me move my slider forward a little bit, but it's still decently in line with the skid plate. That, and then where I use these little posts for my body mount, I've had to carve into this little L bracket here. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is, well, I'm calling it's probably going to rub a little bit. Eventually it'll rub that to where you no longer have that little knocking sound. But here it is, man. We'll have to do a little bit more cleanup, of course, with these wires, like I'm always saying with this new build. But I mean, look at the difference. That thing is just about hidden now. I mean, that sucker is laying down super low. Very excited about testing this thing out again and seeing how low the center of gravity is. I'm sure the side hilling is going to be awesome with it. Yeah, a little bit of fabrication, but really not that bad, you know. So let's go ahead and get the measurement, guys, and we'll get out of here. All right, so the old skid plate, or the old motor mount, had the top of the Stealth X sticking up 5.5 inches. Let's see what we are at now. Drum roll, and oh wow, we're at 4 3/4 inches, maybe a little bit less, almost an inch. I mean, we're right in between the 1/2 and the 3/4 inch mark. Guys, that is super low, man. So guys, make sure you turn the notifications on. Let's see how this thing does in the crawling department. We should be having an episode on it pretty soon, doing the just the overall review of the build. I think that thing is going to help out tremendously. But appreciate you guys watching. Jesse, thank you so much for sending me that, man. Guys, we'll see you on the next episode.